Hi everyone and welcome back to another recap. It's been about 2 months since we last did a recording and friends and family have been pleading us for a video, want to see what we've been up to. So here we are, we're going to take you through what we've been up to for the last 2 months. Let's jump straight in. So our land is looking very, very nice and green at the moment. We've been having a lot of rain. So with that being said, we've been doing a lot of terracing in order to stabilize the land. We've actually been working with a consultant, like a permaculture land guy that's been living here for ages. He's actually a foreigner, but he's been living here for about 30 years. And he's been giving us some great insights of how to sort of look at the whole land and start doing more long-term planning and getting those sort of foundation steps in place. So there's a lot of different elements that we'll take you around, a few of them that we've been doing, and looking forward to seeing how the long-term effect will be once implementing them. One of the elements we've been working on a lot in the last 2 months is our shed area. Might not look like it because the roof's not on yet. We have ordered a specific tile that we're waiting for. They don't have the color, so maybe in 3 weeks. But for now, this is just our temporary solution for the rain. We've added on an amazing little clear roof. We call it our greenhouse area. It's for seedlings, baby fruit trees, all those that Amy's busy germinating. We're also going to be doing a lot of herbs over here because herbs need to be protected from the rain in these conditions. We're going to be doing a sloped step section here where all of our plants will be on, so we'll be getting wonderful morning sun and they should be thriving in this environment. Another little add-on that we've done here is we've extended the concrete, and we're going to be doing the same with the roof to the end of this piece of wood here. And we've added our unique little designed worm farm. We've put on 2 little pillars so we can put all this wood on the left here underneath so it's protected from the rain and out our way. And we've made 3 850 wide by 50 worm farm sections with its own little drainage in there. And yeah, our worm farm that we had was overflowing with all the fruit we eat, so this was due time that we installed one of these. The height thing was quite an issue. We went a little bit higher than we wanted to, but I think it's going to end up being pretty cool. Pouring that in and then being able to access it. Yeah. Perfect. So I'm not 100% sure, but I think we were still busy on this wall the last time we recorded. So we added a path on this side. That was one of the reasons for us putting the wall in, to separate this land from a path that we wanted, dividing our 2 sections of the land. And on either side, we've done some terracing, and you can see we've planted a lot of Pinto's peanut just to get some ground cover in before the dry season. This will do a lot more planting up, but just needing to protect the soil in the meantime. So hopefully this will be super green and slowly but surely feeding the soil underneath it.
So as you can see here, we've started to terrace the land and stabilize it, and with that we're needing to plant as much ground cover as we can, ready to plant some other plants. On this side we've ordered in some bulk comfrey that we got planting a couple of days ago, and then yesterday Chris and I decided to start to transplant some of the other perennials from our planter beds that have been growing for about 8 months or so. Most of the species, well, everything would like to be productive in one way or another, either as an edible or medicinal plant or as a plant that is adding nitrogen to the soil, such as this Pinto's peanut. We've stuck these in the ground just to note where we've planted some ginger and galangal, which is a local Balinese root, I believe, white and bright pink, and it's got the most amazing floral aroma. We use it for tea. The Balinese use it in their local cooking dishes. It's got quite a potent flavor. We're slowly but surely going to fill up this planter bed. It's going to grow to be all different heights, and we're going to put some fruit trees in here and sort of create like a food forest on either side. Another clever way to get our garden looking lush and tropical as we'd like it is to find other people who have resources that we can sort of trade. So that's what we did with these lilies. We found a lady and she needed some Pinto's peanut, which we have in abundance. And so we did our first cashless trade. We gave her a couple of bags of Pinto's and she gave us a couple of bags of lilies for our pond. And yeah, it felt really good to do that sort of exchange. And we're looking forward to doing that when we have abundance of fruit as well. It seems to make sense for the way we wanted to live. Soon, we need to get some fish. We've actually, in our broken Bahasa Bali, we've tried to talk to the kids in the village to see if they can catch us some, it's called seribu, which is like 1,000. And they're little fish that I guess grow in the thousands, because although we've got a lot of tadpoles and frogs, it will be really great to get some fish in here to help just with the whole ecosystem, to keep the pond nice and clean and just functioning effectively. This has by far been our fastest growing tree. Unfortunately, it's not a fruit tree, but it's just totally incredible to see how fast that this tree has grown. It's a rainbow eucalyptus tree. I definitely can't reach the top, but Chris will show you where the top is sitting at. I'll show you back in our past footage. I think it was about this tall. Tall and thin, like this was the main trunk when we planted it, and in less than a year, it's gone way taller than me. They said it would grow about my height within a year, but it's growing much faster than that, so I think that's indicative of just how fertile the soil is. Look at all these terraces that are going to get planted later. We're just mulching them. Mulching.
You need to start on the Pinto's peanut on the slopes, but if we reuse this wood, there's no space for that. So we can only plant it here.
What if we lift up the top one a little bit and then just make a little gap and then put it?
Yeah, but then the rains come. Just do that.
They'll find their way through the gaps.
Where did you get our mulch?
From a plant fence, a pence.
A pence, yeah.
From our pence along our boundary, which is growing so nice and abundantly. I wanted to build up some mulch around my tomato plants because with just having the straw on top of the soil, it ends up taking nitrogen from the soil to break that down. So by adding some green and then some brown, you then assist with that process and it speeds it up so that it's not stealing nitrogen from our tomatoes. And this plant in particular, not sure what it's called, the goat eating plant, it's very high in nitrogen. That's why it's a good option to use to speed up the decomposing process. Other good things are things like ferns, taro leaves, as long as you chop them up nice and small. We don't want to be putting, which we're making the mistake previously, putting just any weed in here, because most of them will end up growing new roots and growing weeds in our tomato beds, which we obviously don't want either, because those also take nitrogen from the soil and compete with the fruit trees.
Yeah, can you start it? And you throw this. I wouldn't put this in, it's going to hurt your feet and shit.
Ha! This always knows how to do things more efficiently.
We also went around a lot of our small baby trees that we've planted and gave them a lot of love. We've got a lot of these invader ferns, which are beautiful, but they're not good for growing straight around all the baby fruit trees. So we cleared that land and did some heavy mulching around there, layering at the top with either sawdust, leaves, or even some of these taro leaves, which fit perfectly around to cover it from the sun. Because this beautiful shaped hole here, then we do it like that, and then you place these just all perfectly around and gives us that hole that we need in the center to avoid rotting around the stem. So just needing to give everything continuously a lot of love and care.
So as you can see, our dragon fruit farm is looking absolutely lush. This Pinto's peanut has grown so rapidly. I think we're so grateful that we planted it during the rainy season, because it seems to thrive with all the water and sunshine, and so it's looking nice and green. Our dragon fruits are taking a bit of time to grow. Some are growing faster than others. You can see over here we're having to secure the next level, so they definitely are growing. That one at the back is looking nice and tall, look, Chris. On the other hand, our sugarcane on the boundary here is thriving. How long do you think until we can harvest this? A few more months?
I don't know.
Yo, look how tall this one is. How wonder why, remember we tried all the different methods to root the dragon fruit. We should have taken note actually where we planted what to see which grew faster.
Another thing that we've realized with living here is having neighbors, not real physical neighbors as no one's really living there, but they do utilize the land for harvesting different crops. One of them being bamboo. They can come in at any time to harvest and cut their resources. So when planning our land, just always keeping that in mind is a quite important thing.
So I don't know if you guys will notice the difference from previous videos, but Chris gave all our mangosteen trees, which we have about, should I say how many? Which we have a lot of in the land, a nice little haircut. So he cut the bottom branches. Although we know we're losing a little bit of productivity, it was more important for us to bring sunlight and openness onto the land. So now you can see that we can actually see through under all the trees. I'll show you on the other side as well. It's like a whole different piece of land. Before, nothing was growing underneath. It was just mud and sand. And now, slowly but surely, we're able to plant pintos and ground cover to make it more green and to help the soil to be less compacted. So over here, the cuts are already starting to heal very nicely, but this is where the first branches were, and they were hanging probably be about down to here, Chris. Yeah. So as much as I was resisting cutting the trees, it's much more functional and it's going to be much more productive going forward. So finally, our first banana tree is starting to fruit. We think that this is banana hijau, which is a green banana. It's a big banana. I think we can tell that by the size of this banana tree. I mean, look how tall this is. And yeah, we're not sure how much longer we have to wait, maybe another month or so, but we'll keep you guys posted. Also, I'm not sure if we showed you in our last video, but our 2 tallest papaya trees started flowering a couple of months ago. They haven't started fruiting. We're not quite sure why. It may be that they're male trees. We believe that the male trees flower and don't fruit. But the locals encourage us that they still might fruit. We just have to be a bit patient. But I'll show you some of our other papaya trees that are fruiting. And the other thing that started fruiting is our granadilla or passion fruit plants, which I planted a few months ago when we put this bamboo structure up. It's really fruiting abundantly, and I think this is a perennial plant that's just going to keep giving. So this is the papaya tree that grew out of this compost pit. There's actually a couple of papayas that are growing out of this compost pit that we're going to try to transplant. As I've mentioned before, the only catch is that because we haven't selected these seeds and planted them, we don't know the quality of the fruits, but we're willing to just give it a try, and worst case we cut the papaya tree down and it becomes mulch. But these are our first papayas that are growing. The shape looks good. We know it's a papaya we like. We just don't know the quality of this papaya. Over here you can see there's a lot of mangosteen trees. Prior to trimming the bottom branches, you couldn't even see the wall. Now you can see over the wall and through to the other side of the land, which just feels much more open and spacious. And also you can see there's morning sun hitting the ground here, which was not the case before. And so as we regenerate the soil and help it to be less compacted, we will be able to plant more productive species on this side. Chris, look, there's another papaya tree fruiting. I haven't seen this one. This is one we planted from seed. I can't explain the feeling of eating a fruit that is so delicious, saving the seed, germinating it, and then watching it grow and seeing a fruit. It's pretty mind-blowing, at least for us. Chris actually says when he was younger, everyone said money didn't grow on trees, and now this is proof that money actually does grow on trees, at least in our case. You've stopped what?
Putting socks up there.
Why?
Because it had a massive hole in, so it was hurting me, and I don't want to buy more socks. Alongside with trying to get all our land nice and airy and sunny, and also every single plant producing, a lot of the trees have been overtaken with creepers. We're not 100% sure of which ones are beneficial and not, but I think we can easily see which ones are killing the trees. And the scariest one of all is this, we call it the devil creeper, because 6 months ago we went around and cut all the creepers and it looked like it was all dead, but inside there were these thick creepers with lots of thorns, and they're the biggest baddies, and they start to strangle all the trees. So in and amongst that I saw those and had to get those down too. The problem is they grow downwards. You can cut them here, but their life is up there, and then they just keep growing down.
So it's going to be... solution?
did it on the other side where we cut it and it slowly dies, but it's got a lot of green still. And then you just slowly start pulling sections down, it becomes less and less and less. And then you slowly win the war.
Chris is calling me for something. He says it's a bit time sensitive. What's it?
Sensitive means animal.
Animal.
Snake.
Little snake.
Inside there, you can go small. Or I'll go.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Sleeping. How did you spot him?
I just saw him.
Is he alive? Yeah. He's sleeping. Well done.
That's a sign to move away from the area with barefoot. Let me put this down. So I was busy, I was busy trimming all those things. So our stream starts there, so we've got this massive hole. And I'm pulling and I'm tugging and everything's coming down, so I'm losing grips of where my floor is. And then I need to pull this way, and then I step into this hole, and I've been down there before. It's like this huge furrow that goes, and that's where the stream sort of starts. And I fall right through, and I'm sitting in the reeds that I've been cutting, like a little baby in a baby chair, and my leg is going like in front of me. So we must bear that in mind. There's like very fragile land there, and I've seen that hole there. I don't want to know what's living there. Yes. And it reminded me of when I was stuck in the snow. You're like this high and you got nothing to push against. And luckily, something I pulled here sort of helped me up and I could get out. But that's my story. We need to reinforce that bank ASAP.
I'm just glad you didn't get eaten by the Bali dragon that lives there.
Leaves, leaves, leaves.
Sure, aren't we lucky, eh?
So many big trees providing this free resource. Oh. What you making?
So we're prepping a compost pile. We've got so much raw material, so it's absolutely amazing to reuse it. The only thing we don't have, which we can get from our helpers' land, is cow manure, but we're laying down sticks and little shrubbery. They're all cut like this, with one or two leaves on, but predominantly not leaves, because what we're wanting to do is create a nice space for air to circulate through, so it's nice and airy. And then after that, we're going to be doing a thick layer, like 500 or 50 centimeters thick, of green cuttings like grass and all the cutting of the ferns that we do on the land, and then. So the spade quality here is absolutely brilliant. You do one shovel in shit and it snaps. This actually works better, so hand shovel.
There's also to using your hands instead.
That's easier. Get a nice layer.
The shredded coconut on top of the chocolate layer, on top of the cake.
Mom, this is for you. This is next level weeding with the toe. Amy, zoom down. Hold on. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Compost heap around the
Kittens eating coconut. They love it. Hey Goose. You're sharing nicely. Say hello. Say hello. How's it going?
4 hours spent there.
I think it's going to clear.
So that's a wrap.
For this week's update, or
2
month
month
update.
Sorry.
Yeah, hopefully it won't be so much time till our next one. For the next couple of weeks or the next month, we're gonna
Food production, land prep, things that you can't really see.
might be a bit.
It's always nice to have things coming out the ground that we can show, but it'll be a lot of in the ground stuff. But yeah, keep you guys posted. Thanks for watching.
See you next time.
Ciao.